All right, there we go. Perfect. Well, I'm glad you guys like that. All right, perfect. Makes me feel good now. All right, so let's get started with this show. It is up. First segment is going to be the return of something we haven't done in a minute, and that is an audio segment. So I'm going to throw on some tunes and go through this segment and hopefully time it out right. And hopefully the music won't be too loud. I think I got it queued up pretty good. Oops, cut that out just a bit sooner than intended. But that's okay. It was at the end of it. Sorry about the double loop there. I didn't realize how long this would be, or how long it would take to scroll through it. But great stuff right here, guys. This is what got us where we are today. The Saga of the Gods. Clash of the Titans, as it were. Great way to kick off this show and kick off the end to the volume. From the Chief's arrival to Lux Bellator to DTR to the family to all of it leading up to the reveal of Yahweh taking over the Chief. Great stuff. Great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Okay, let me get everything sorted out here and we'll get back to it. Okay, there we go. Let's see what we got going for us, guys. All right, what's leading us off? It's a match. A match for the Rewind Championship. Khalil Longfellow, Monty Straight. It's going down. All right, I scrolled a little too far. We've got some images. Nice. This is an Inferno match, I believe. Flames high around the ring. They're illuminated by the red glow. Already sweating. They don't want to get set on fire. Of course they don't. They head into the middle of the ring and lock up, going for an early advantage to start. Khalil gets the headlock, but Straight powers out, pushes him to the ropes, just barely missing a spout of flames. As Khalil gets back to where Monty is, a stiff drop kick sends him crashing to the mat. The Straight Shooter looks to see where Khalil landed and goes to drag him closer to the flames, but the Restorer frees himself quickly. Monty goes after Khalil, but is met with an enziguri. Longfellow mounts Monty, delivering a series of heavy-handed hammer fists in a show of alliteration to try and punish the dealmaker for stealing his library and his soul. Khalil rolls straight to his stomach, rolls into the bow and arrow, knowing that Straight can't tap out. There it is. He's got the bow and arrow locked on. Monty tries to get out, but Khalil kicks his knees forward, nearly tossing Monty to the flames. Straight avoids them. Monty's back up. The fire and the abuse are showing their effects. Longfellow marches through, but Monty gets his wits. Stiff European uppercut. And Abizagari rolling kick that puts Khalil to the floor once again. Monty lifts him up by his feet, grabs him by the waist, and hails the commercial break. The Emerald Flosion rocks Khalil as Monty stares down. The gleam in his eye, I love his gleam. As he looks over the flames, he drags Longfellow closer to the fire. The feeling of the heat snaps Khalil back to the world and he fights free. Monty leaps up for the deal breaker. The flames surrounding the ring. Khalil crumbles to the mat. As the Straight Shooter once again looks around for the nearest flames, he picks him up, wraps his arms and legs around the neck and legs of Khalil. Into the Russian leg sweep, he rolls through into the crossface. He calls that terms and conditions. Monty slowly forces Khalil to slide on his belly towards the flames. Longfellow's in no shape to resist as the fires that surround them come closer and closer. Finally, Khalil's face is in the flames and his beard ignites. Monty has lit him on fire. It stirred the librarian to consciousness. Monty goes to freeze himself. Khalil holds on. Straight's pant leg is on fire and they both disappear. So Monty wins. Monty wins. Monty wins. And we're going to get the segment follow-up entitled Soul, Where Did They Teleport To? The set of the show that never stops. Months ago, the crowd, we're getting a flashback. The crowd roars with applause and excitement. Two doors manifested on the stage. One says life, one says death. In a rare moment of confusion, Monty looks over at his contestant. Khalil's smile spreads from ear to ear, but it is not a smile of elation, it's of pure relief. What, Monty clears his throat, just happened? Khalil looks at the doors and has said, it's been so long since I made the choice. Life. What makes life worth living over death? Excuse me. And yet we are back here again, aren't we? Back at that moment. But you did make a choice, Straight notes. A deal is a deal. Yes, Khalil responds. And a contract is a contract. Straight lifts an eyebrow. You see, Khalil says, I lied to you out there in those woods. I told you I would not dare read the language of the infernal. Monty sneers, disgusted at Longfellow's foul play. Not only did Khalil read it, he added a clause to it, and that clause stated in the event that we both burn, our original deal was rendered null and void, and a new deal had to be made. He signed it with his own soul. You knew? Monty asks. You knew it was your soul? And how could a poet, Khalil replies, not recognize his own soul when he sees it? Wave of emotion over Straight. Monty looks out to his audience, says, what will it be, folks? What do you think Longfellow should choose? Should he choose life and lose everything that matters? Or should he choose death and leave his legacy intact? The ravenous audience screams out, but it's all just background noise to the eye contact between Straight and Longfellow. Khalil shrugs and says, I guess this is goodbye. The twinkle in Monty's eye is there again, an assuring nod and knowing wink. But he says, but your Library of Alexandria, your volumes of poems, and your soul, pal, they'll remain. Khalil nods back and he walks to the door marked Death, grabs the handle, swings it open, and a bright light pours out. Khalil looks back at Monty one last time. Monty shoos him towards the door with his hand. Khalil steps forward and fades into the light. A legacy of greatness left behind. Damn. Damn, what a great way to end this story. After all of that, Khalil did what he had to save the library, his poems, and his soul. Great stuff. Great stuff. I don't know who wrote this, but good work. Oh, Mr. Clark wrote this. Good work, sir. A segment coming up with Mr. Quinn and Mr. Stick entitled The Results. Inside the lab, Nightstick has been here every single day since he retained the sample from Redmond Quinn in a violent manner last week. Tonight, he's scheduled to defend that title against that very man, unless this test comes back positive, in which case Quinn murdered Creed. Feels like he's been waiting an age before a tech finally comes out, clipboard in hand, full of all the documentation. And he says, I'm sorry about the delay. We've been struggling with the backlog, as they do. You're here for the murder case, right? He asks, where's Detective Franklin? Because he can't hand that info over to someone who isn't an official police officer. But hey, there's Franklin. He says, I'm here. Sorry I was late. What do we have, kid? The technician nods and says, well, we've compared the sample given to us last week against the sample of hair found on the body of Mr. Quinn. While it does belong to an African-American male, it does not belong to Mr. Quinn. Nightstick is shocked, as you'd expect, and he says, that can't be right. Are you serious? There is no DNA match. Quinn and Franklin, now what? So Nightstick says, well, we do what Quinn asked. He's going to meet him at the diner and see what evidence he has. That very same diner where we saw that bomb-ass segment at Red Snow between Creed and Nightstick. But we're moving on. We're moving on to the fight between Intrepid and Sparrow. A battle of cosmic proportions. They're fighting in Area 51. They better get this fight over with before the people storm it. They're going to take this fight to Area 51. I just had a blip out. Sparrow needs his ring back. And Intrepid is trying to escape once and for all. They charge at each other. Lefts and rights being exchanged. Fists of fury. Intrepid throws Sparrow into a nearby ship. A thud ringing throughout the hangar. A smirk appears on the face of the fearless explorer as he lunges at his former partner, but a flurry of kicks meets him. Sparrow still has hope without his ring. He drives the reporter back, managing to gather some momentum in his favor as he launches himself off the ship. Enziguri! A hard kick to the face of Intrepid sends the fearless explorer reeling back. Sparrow with the opening. He uses the ship as a springboard and hits Will's light, the roundhouse kick. Sparrow stands over him, but the green spear of courage. And Sparrow gets sent through the air with a spear launched from Intrepid's ring. Intrepid's back on his feet, a stern look on his face. Doesn't he wear a mask? As he approaches the fallen Sparrow with his ring, still emanating that green light. Intrepid gains speed. He's outrunning Sparrow. The drop toe hold. One of my fave moves. All my characters have one. Sparrow used Intrepid's momentum against him. As Intrepid falls to the ground, the tiny object leaves his possession. It's the blue ring, the ring of hope. It falls out of reach. Sparrow runs to retrieve it, but Sparrow powers up. He levels Sparrow with a burst of energy, fear itself. With Sparrow down, Intrepid goes to work, stomps all over his rival, yell at him, saying, "This is for my people." Intrepid slams his foot down on the helmet, grinding it against the floor of the hangar as he looks to force Sparrow to give up, but Sparrow does not. He gains strength, he powers up. Intrepid lifts him up, though, using the green power to launch him into another ship, but Sparrow sends both of them into the ship instead. They're both down, but Sparrow gets up. He crawls towards his ring. Intrepid reaches out, but Sparrow has the ring. He's charging up. Lantern's might. He grabs the explorer, driving him into the floor with the brainbuster. Sparrow stands tall tonight. But consider the cost of his journey to retrieve his ring. His hope. All right. Bonds of Hope segment coming up. Was that proof enough? Begins the segment. The question lays thick in the air, mixed with the pants of two fighters having given it their all. Intrepid looks towards Sparrow, his eyes locked on his once ally. The warrior of hope is not returning the look. He strides over to where they fought, to where his ring, knocked loose from Intrepid's pocket, sits. Intrepid tries to rise up, but can barely do so. He says, "Please, Sparrow," but Sparrow picks the ring up. I think Sparrow picked the ring up in the match. Did I call that wrong? No, Sparrow had the ring in the match. Okay. Let's see. Anyway. Sparrow is lifted up by the blue light from the ring. A laugh leaves him, one so joyous it reverberates in the hangar. As it dissipates, he turns back to Intrepid. He strides over, his body language nearly unreadable. Intrepid flinches as he gets up close, but looks up in shock as Sparrow extends the hand. Says, "We have a flight to catch, don't we?" Intrepid is shocked, as are we all. And he says, "Why?" But Sparrow says, "I wasn't sure at first. When you stole my ring, I felt betrayed, heartbroken. As I hunted you down for my ring, I remembered my own pain when I'd lost everything. And you know what I found?" Intrepid says, "What was that?" But Sparrow found he couldn't expect him not to try. "You gave it your all and showed you were willing to do stupid, reckless things to save your home. So I may have taken the precaution to get the ship set up. There are dangers out there that we need to take care of." Intrepid is in disbelief. and said, I don't think there's words for what this means to me, but are you sure you can just leave here like this? He looks back in the direction of the tap room before locking eyes and says, I think they'll be fine without me. They've got the others to keep and play their parts. So we've got little time to lose, don't we? They get in the ship. The ship lights flash. It goes off the ground and they shoot into the night sky. Intrepid and Sparrow going out to save the people of Intrepid. The last hope leaves the earth. Badass. Good guy Sparrow strikes again. They looked in the direction of the tap room. All right, what an awesome ending this was. And it was good. It was not, there was no death. I mean, I guess unless they die trying to save everybody, but otherwise there is no death. Let's see what's next. We've got Tommaso Vitale and Xander Zane. We're going into the Xander zone, people. Revelation. The match's time has come, but Xander's nowhere to be found. Vitale's got a mic in the center of the ring, and he says, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I have terrible, terrible news. Zandy Zane has been murdered. The crowd is shocked. They're murmuring. Vitale tears up. He's so affected by this. And he says that I'm left without an opponent, but it means I will win by forfeit. Hey, remember, body count and super kick count. Although I don't think we have too many people doing super kicks anymore. So Vitale thinks he's going to win by forfeit. And he says, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted a good competitive match with one of my best friends in Zandy. I hate to accept the win this way, but I believe in my heart that's exactly what he would have wanted. He would have wanted me to carry on the legacy of his double feature championship run. Now, referee, let's raise my hand to solidify being the new champion and upholding the legacy of Xander freaking Zane. The referee is hesitant as he walks over and grabs Vitale's hand. Just as he's about to lift it, here comes Xander Zane, the dry ice. For those about to rock is playing. The Van of Vengeance. Xander's on top somehow. Surfing. Moto surf. Vitale is livid inside the ring as he begins pulling out his hair. He points at Zane. His henchmen are sent after him. Zane slides down to the floor and he says, for those about to rock, we salute you. The grunts approach. Zane takes him out with the mic stand. He enters the ring. And he mouths the words at Vitale that throw him for a loop. I know it was you. Xander Zane, House of Fire babyface for the double feature championship. An all-out war. They're going after it. Vitale's trying to beg off, but Zane's having none. Zane rushes across the ring, leaping clothesline. Both men are down. Zane rolls to his feet, poses for the audience. Vitale says it's not true. None of it's true. The crowd is chanting, no, Xander, no. Zane turns his attention back to Vitale, but a moment too late, the kick up. There it is. The super kick, it dots him right on the chin as he slumps down to the mat. Vitale rolls him up for a 1-2 and a power out. Xander Zane's not done. Xander Zane rushes in. Uses the ropes to get to his feet, rather. Vitale rushes in. Xander catches him with another drop toe hold. Into the bottom turnbuckle. Vitale gets to the corner. The crotch face. The crotch first Bronco Buster ride the lightning. Xander's anger seems to be transforming into joy. He pulls Vitale out from the corner before leaping to the top rope and hits a split-legged moonsault. Smoke on the knees. On the knees, Vitale got his knees up. He hooks the head of Vitale into a small package. 1, 2, and a kick out. Zane's up to his feet as Vitale beckons to come after him. Xander rushes in with an enziguri that misses, but Vitale hooks the head. He leans back to sleep with fish. The rock god is in a world of pain as the dragon sleeper is locked in. He tries to drag him forward, but Vitale pulls back. But Xander gets to a rope with his foot. The ref puts the count on Vitale. Gets to 4. Vitale releases with a smirk. Gets to his feet, drives the boot into the ribs of Zane, and says, "Get up, you loser." Boos begin raining into the ring as Vitale turns towards the crowd and begins mocking them with a little bow. As he's mocking them, Xander Zane slowly rises behind him, holding a ribs with a big smile on his face. Vitale turns right around into the roundhouse. Zane clotheslines Vitale over the top rope. Before hitting the ropes, he leaps right through them. The stage dive. Both men crumble to the floor, but the crowd is on their feet. They're chanting for old Zandy. The rocker rises back to his feet, gyrating his hips. He grabs Vitale and rolls him into the ring, pulls him up into the corner. He goes to the opposite corner on the apron. The world tour, it comes to an end right onto Vitale's face. Xander moves to the center of the ring. He smirks, gyrating his hips again. The crowd's cheering him on, chanting his name. Vitale staggers to his feet. The mic drop, the neck breaker stunner. He rolls into the cover. 1, 2, and 3. Xander Zane has defeated the vile Tommaso Vitale. Tears fill his eyes, knowing this is possibly his last match in OSW. I don't need to refresh Discord. Well, Hayden, I guess it was fitting that you asked if any of the characters knew it was their last match or not. Oh, man. All right, one more segment with these guys entitled Termination. The match is over. They're completely spent. Vitale grabs a mic and says, "Do you want to know why, Zandy?" But Zane says he knows why. "You wanted my fame and you wanted it without me in the picture to hog the spotlight. Isn't that right, Alfie?" Vitale's face goes white. Alfred, Xander's financial advisor, has got a contract. Alfred has got the mic. "Not quite, Mr. Zane. One thing that Mr. Vitale ensured I include in the contract was that if either party were to pass away, then all funding would go towards the other party. In other words, if Mr. Zane were to die, all the funds would then be strictly Mr. Vitale's, including any money owned from post-death profits." Vitale smirks as he looks towards Alfred. "But there's something I added that Vitale was not aware of. If either party were to be proven guilty of trying to terminate the other, the entire contract would be considered voided." Tommy is so confused and he says, "If you can prove it, that seems to be the key." Vengeance is here. He steps out of the driver's side of the van with a stern look. He's got a tape recorder and says, "I need him taken care of. Until you kill Xander Zane, you're mine." Vitale has got it. He's stumped, and he says, "I thought we were friends," is what Zane says. "But you wanted my fame and my money, but we're done." Another shot with the mic stand to Vitale. The police officers are here, arresting Tommaso Vitale, sending him to the clink. Xander Zane gives one final encore to the crowd. As we have a wrong image here. Berenger and King Arthur is coming up in a singles match. The Void King, the Lich King, and a battle to the end. Ignore how those people look. There's no bell. They stand only a few feet apart, covered in the remnants of Sir Percival. Arthur has got a glowing green blade. Berenger rises in a floating form. His eyes are white with a fury hidden behind them. The swords collide in the center of this decrepit castle. Berenger swings twice with as much force as he can muster, but King Arthur is an excellent swordsman. He deflects them. It's almost too easy as his fleshly appearance laughs at Berenger and says, "You foolish man, you thought that you could best Excalibur in a duel? There is no hope for you or your puny talking blade." With that word, Excalibur deflects Vigil Keeper and strikes into the thigh of Berenger. The Void Knight screams with agony. He catches Arthur with a right. He pulls Excalibur from the wound. Berenger rightfully screams at that. Arthur rubs his jaw before grimacing at the disgusting knight. He goes forward with Excalibur, which misses. Vigil Keeper moves it and says, "Prince Berenger, you must not be distracted." Berenger snaps back to attention. He raises Vigil Keeper high. He strikes forward at blazing speed. Arthur seems surprised by the attack as he tries to fend off the blows, but the speed seems too much even for him. Arthur bellows a blast of green and black energy. Berenger gets blasted back. He skids across the floor on his feet. Arthur's beautiful form begins to grow more and more manic, and he says, "This will not be the death of me. Not again." Arthur stabs his blade into the floor. A big crevice opens. Skeletal bodies crawl up. Hell yeah. The sound of a door is sounds from being kicked open as 3 more guards rush in. The Knight of the Void is surrounded. "Thee may have killed my last opportunity for immortality, but I will ensure thee don't live to see another day." The skeletal bodies rush forward. The guards have got their blades held high. Berenger's light is put out by their attack, but only for a moment. A huge bellowing battle cry sends their forces tumbling head over heels away from him. The form of Berenger begins charging, with Vigil Keeper nearly disappearing with the fervor of the attack. The skeletons shatter and crumble. The soldiers are disarmed. Wide energy throws them backwards. Berenger bellows once more before turning to look for Arthur. The king's hand clutches the still grounded Excalibur. The Knight of the Void hovers over to him. I just now see the hang on. My bad. The Knight of the Void hovers over the king. Arthur scrambles. He leaves Excalibur on the ground. His eyes sink as he returns to his lich form. Berenger eyes the sword. He reaches down. He raises Vigil Keeper in the air and says, "Let your fire burn brightest, Vigil Keeper." The sound of the 2 swords meeting echoes, but the face of King Arthur is pure horror. The blade of Excalibur is shattered. King Arthur has been defeated. Excalibur is gone. Farewell is our segment with these 2. The Knight of the Void glares at his enemy. He throws the hilt away of Excalibur and says, "You weaken that blade by harnessing so much dark magic. Now your trial is at hand." Berenger has his blade drawn, and Arthur says, "You cannot harm me in this form. Surely even you know that by now." King Arthur's form glows green, and he says, "You cannot kill me." But Berenger shoves Vigil Keeper through his abdomen. The blade glows white all the way through him, and he says, "Farewell, your highness. Let this small feat begin my atonement for the lives you have stolen." The beam glows brighter and brighter as Arthur screams in pain. It fills up the whole room, and it fades away, and all that's left is Berenger on the throne, Vigil Keeper across his lap, and a lone crown sitting upon the floor. King Arthur is no more. Berenger looks down at his blade. Vigil Keeper is exhausted. "So what do we do now, Prince Berenger?" "Now? We wait. We rest. When evil arises once more, we shall be there to vanquish it as well. As you wish, my prince." Well, hell yeah. Berenger strikes true. King Arthur is no more. Oh, man. And we keep moving. We keep moving. We're going back to diners, drive-ins, and lies. Is Guy Fieri going to be there? All right. They're back at that old diner, sat in a dirty booth. Redmond Quinn is there with young Theo, who's trying to hide his identity. This was where Luther Creed and Nightstick once met. Nightstick takes a seat and says, "Tonight's the biggest night of your career and you're here for this." But Quinn says some things are just more important, like justice. Nightstick grins and says Quinn says this here is young Theo. It's the person Luther was writing his letters to, some of which Nightstick has seen. The cop offers a handshake. Theo doesn't take it. Luther believed the murder of his friend when he was a boy. The very act that spurred his entire life in this direction was an act of conspiracy. That's interesting. Nightstick says, "How do you mean?" "Well, Creed's friend's father belonged to a group of men that enforced changes within the police department. A revolutionary way before Creed ever stepped foot in front of a camera. They controlled crime by having a stake in it." Interesting. Does this tie into the Black Mirror? There's a pause before Quinn continues. Nightstick understands. And when this boy's dad refused to play ball with some of the other leaders, they sent a white cop to kill his son. Nightstick sits back in the booth. He doesn't know how to react, and he says, "You can prove this." Theo nods. He says, "Jesus." Theo whispers, "Luther found evidence. He said he'd been searching for years, and when you started screwing with him, the culprit satisfied." Theo whispers Nightstick says, "I need everything you got in your testimony. I'll keep you protected at all costs. I know a guy who'll make sure no harm comes." Bang! Son of a bitch. Bang. Bang. All right. Somebody shot somebody, probably the kid. Don't count it yet. We don't know. All right, we've got us a match. Dark Wish versus Red Wing. Red Wish saw through Dark Wish's facade last week. Just a young kid with a death wish. Good line, whoever wrote that. Will Red Wing grant the death wish here tonight, or will he remain ever the stoic figure he has been beneath the weight of such a wish? Dark Wish roars, charging in towards Red Wing. Knee to the gut, Red Wing bends over. He leaves space for the terror of the night to nail him with a big-time enziguri across his exposed temple. And he says, "Fuck you, Bill. Fuck you, I love it." Dark Wish springs boards outside the ring. He reaches under the apron. His eyes twinkle with glorious delight. He's got a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. Hell yeah. Dark Wish slides into the ring and catches a boot from Red Wing. The Yakuza kick to Dark Wish's dome. Clark, I love your writing, man. I love the stuff that you put in here. Drops him like a goddamn sack of taters. That's amazing. That's my line of the night thus far. Anyway, Red Wing looks down at the barbed wire wrapped bat and picks it up, stares at it, wrestles with it in his hand. Dark Wish gets a leg sweep. He drops the Justice Crusader. He's got the bat. Dark Wish, into the back. And again, a shit ton of times. Red Wing's back is being ripped to shreds. It went through the cape, through the uniform. It's ripping him to shreds. Right to his head. Holy shit. He hit him in the head with the barbed wire baseball bat. Dark Wish flips the bat, drops to his knees and makes the cover. Gets a 1. Gets a 2, but no, the Red Knight kicks out. Dark Wish is pissed, but Red Wing kips up. He's a house of fire, boot to his gut. The return to Arkham. He makes the cover. 1, 2, no. Dark Wish may want to die at Red Wing's hands, but it's clear he does not want to lose. Red Wing gets up. He positions himself for a move. Darkwish slowly crawls to his own. He gets to a knee. The axe kick, but no, Darkwish ducks. Low blow. Darkwish nailed him right in the balls. The inverted Frankensteiner DDT. Well, excuse me, the Justice Crusader's head bounces off the mat like a goddamn basketball. Darkwish makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. He got him. No, he didn't. Darkwish rolls over and off of his nemesis. Red Wing had lifted his shoulder up with not a micro-second to spare. The fans roar as Red Wing reaches his knight, but Darkwish is up first. He goes up to the nearest turnbuckle, and he said, "You should have ended me when you had the chance." But Red Wing runs up the turnbuckles. Punch to the gut. He looks at him with fatherly disappointment. Into the air, the Red Justice from the top turnbuckle. Darkwish's head collides with Red Wing's knee. Red Wing makes the cover. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Red Wing has done it. No, he didn't. Darkwish got the shoulder up. What a man. Darkwish is dragged up to his feet by Red Wing. He manages to Irish whip the Terror of the Night into the ropes. Darkwish with a clothesline. Or no, Red Wing with the clothesline, but Darkwish ducks. He's got the bat. Darkwish with a home run shot to Red Wing's jaw. He broke his jaw. Red Wing has got him right where he wants him. The package Fisherman Buster, but Red Wing wriggled free. He nailed the cutthroat driver. 1, 2, 3. Red Wing got it. And he should have a broken skull, but he got it. Red Wing has won the match. He has defeated Darkwish. Nice victory. Let's see how this one goes. And by the book. The match is over. The ring is a deflating balloon. Darkwish rolls to his stomach. He's pissed off. He comes to his knees. Red Wing stands over him, and Red Wing says it's over. Darkwish has run out of angers, run out of ways to fight, run out of places to hide. Darkwish says, then finishes it, and he closes his eyes. But when he reopens them, Red Wing has got his hand held out to him and says anyone can take a life, but to give life is something else entirely. Darkwish takes the hand and looks into the eyes of Red Wing. He stands up, and he says, all I ever wanted to do was make sure no one ever had to go through what I did. I thought killing both heroes and villains would end it. But killing only leads to no more killing. You were right, he says to Red Wing. Cape Crusader places his hand on Darkwish's shoulder. Says, with that attitude, you may make an amazing hero one day. And Shadow Force will be here when that day comes. I will be here when that day comes. They embrace. But, Red Wing says, all of our actions have consequences. Darkwish nods. Red Wing has reached his utility belt and has pulled out handcuffs. And he says, I told you, I'm going to bring you in by the book. Darkwish lets Red Wing cuff him. Red Wing goes to lead him out of the ring. Darkwish may rise yet again, but next time it will be as a hero. Justice has been served. Red Wing did what he said he was going to do. What others may have doubted he could do. He brought in Darkwish, but more than that, he saved his friend. And maybe he saved himself along the way. Hope you like that, Chris. All right. Mysterion and Game Boy. In a segment entitled Down. All right, it's going down. Days ago in Mysterion's secret underground lair, surrounded by security screens, gizmos, and gadgets, Mysterion sits typing busily at a computer, sweating from sweat. I'm sorry, that line just amuses me. Sweating from sweat and pressure he is placing upon himself. What are you doing, buddy? Whoever memes stuff that we do, like screenshots it and memes it, sweating from sweat has to be a meme. Has to be. Has to be. Matt, this is you, sweating from sweat. I need to see that in our chat. All right, anyway. What are you doing, buddy? Mysterion turns around and Game Boy is there. How did you find my secret underground lair? Well, Game Boy has access to all of his files. Remember, he's taken control. Mysterion says, please don't freeze time and spit in my face. Mysterion freezes, and Game Boy says, don't worry, I won't spit on you guys again. Oh, man. Sweating from sweat. Player 1 paces around the room and says, I came here to tell you this, Mysterion. At Ring of Dreams, I want a clean match. As fun as it is to give you a dose of your own medicine, I'm shutting my powers down. No cheat codes, no hacks, just you and me, man to man, buddy to buddy. Now that makes up for it. And I know I won't stop you from doing your best Bowser impersonation at Ring of Dreams. I know you'll cheat every chance you get, but I don't have a princess for you to take, and without my powers, I'll take all your castles. But you and me, our final round takes place at Ring of Dreams, and I'm going to end you without my powers. All right. We're going to get the match. We're going to get the match for the VHS Championship. Game Boy told Mysterion he wouldn't use his powers here tonight, but will he keep that promise? Given the bad blood developed between these two men, and what dirty tricks will the villain pull out of his sleeve? The villain charges across the ring. Game Boy charges. They meet. They're trading blows in the middle of the ring. Left from Game Boy, right from Mysterion, vice versa. Player 1 has taken the upper hand. A step-up enziguri by Game Boy to the Temple of the Cloak Conundrum. Awesome shot. Mysterion is down. Game Boy's on top. Sweating from sweat, locking in the Cobra Clutch. Mysterion screams at the top of his lungs. Game Boy wrenches the neck even harder. But Game Boy breaks the hold. Excuse me. He jumps to his feet. Standing moonsault. He rolls him over for the cover and gets a 1. Gets a 2, but no. Mysterion reversed it. Small package cradle, 1, 2, but no. Game Boy kicks out. Mysterion is on top of things as he reaches his feet. He delivers several vicious stomps to Game Boy's head and neck. Mysterion lifts him up, whips him into the ropes, but Mysterion springboards. Tilt-a-whirl DDT from the Cloak Conundrum. Mysterion pulls Player 1 to the corner, leaps up top, goes for the imploding 450 splash, the master plan. He makes the cover. 1, 2, no! Mysterion broke the cover himself. This could be his demise. He's trying to rip Game Boy's visor off. Game Boy grabs at it and holds on for dear life. The Cloak Conundrum punches Game Boy in the jaw, but Game Boy won't let go. Mysterion's hands are around his neck, choking the life out of him. His face turns to purple. Mysterion screams, give me the visor. Over my dead body, and Mysterion says that's doable. Player 1 shoves his thumb into Mysterion's eyes. That's what I like to see. Mysterion screams and breaks the hold. He grasps at his eye. Game Boy tries to breathe. He tries to get up. The 619 by Mysterion. He makes the cover with the 1, 2, 3. Mysterion has done it. No, he didn't. Game Boy kicked out. Mysterion goes back for the visor. Goes back for it. He punches Player 1 right in the throat. Throat punch 3. Game Boy grabs his throat. Rips the visor. Game Boy has lost it. Mysterion has it. Game Boy rushes Mysterion with a double leg takedown. The button masher. 3 quick rights to the face. Another and another and another. That's 5. 15 right hands to the face. Mysterion lets go. Game Boy grabs it and he goes to pick it up. But low blow from Mysterion. Low blow right in the jewels. Schoolboy attempt. 1, 2, 3. No. Game Boy got out. Game Boy saved his match. Mysterion pounds the mat out of frustration, climbs up, goes for the punch of doom, but Game Boy ducks it. The level 1, the super kick. The cloak conundrum is down. Game Boy makes the cover. 1, 2, 3, it's it. Player 1 has picked up a big victory, but Mysterion has Game Boy's visor still. He's got the visor. A shot to Game Boy's buttons. I like that. That's a good one. What's going to happen next? What is Mysterion going to do? Up. I wonder if there'll be enough segments to do the whole Konami code. In Mysterion's locker room, Game Boy charges in. Mysterion's got the visor. Game Boy wants it back, and Mysterion says no. Mysterion threatens to destroy it. And he says, take one more step, and I will destroy it. Game Boy says, you don't know what you're doing, but Mysterion says, I know what I'm doing. I'm becoming invincible. Game Boy stands helpless as Mysterion slides the visor over his face. It latches onto Mysterion's face, sinks into his flesh. He falls to his knees in pain. The screaming stops. Everything stops except for Mysterion, who looks up at Game Boy with a power-fueled smile. Oh, he shoves Game Boy across the room with energy. Oh, he's got control of Game Boy. He's beating the crap out of him. Game Boy hits the wall, the other wall. And he says, you've had this much power all along? You fool. Game Boy has been folded like a lawn chair. Mysterion is powering up. He's more powerful than Odin, more powerful than Yahweh. But in the midst, Mysterion notices his body is vibrating as the powerful white light emits from his body. And he says, what is happening to me? Game Boy says, I tried to tell you. Mysterion's body shakes like a bomb. Game Boy sheds a tear and nods. Boom! The visor bursts. Mysterion explodes. Mysterion and Player 1's visor are gone. And Game Boy is utterly normal. Skin, flesh, normal eyes, dark hair. Game Boy has become the one thing he thought he would never ever be again. A completely human being. He's human, all too human, and it's beautiful. Well, shit. Game Boy has been made human. Mysterion is dead. Well, hot damn. All right. Diners, drive-ins, and dies. All right, we are back with Nightstick and Quinn. A ferocious bang reverberated around the diner, followed by the immediate horrifying screams of patrons. Blood's everywhere. Nightstick looks towards Quinn, whose glasses are splattered with crimson. The kid is dead. Theo is dead. A man in black runs away from the scene. He gives chase, Nightstick does. Quinn bellows, covered in blood and brain matter from what was a devastating headshot. The attacker is slow, getting out of breath only a few hundred yards down the road. Nightstick rips the mask from his face, tackles him. It's Franklin. And he says, what have you done? You killed the kid. I had to do it to protect the unit. He would have put us behind bars. You remember, don't you? Oh, this is the tie-in. Nolan told you about it before he vanished. The committee. The very one he put behind bars, Nightstick did. And he says, you're a part of this? You had Creed's friend murdered? And Franklin says, we had to. His father wanted out of the drug business and we couldn't let it happen. We needed him to lose something so he could come closer. When Creed found out he was going to expose us, I had no choice. Motherfucker. Redmond Quinn has got the gun. Redmond Quinn has got the gun. Is he going to do it? Oh shit, it doesn't slow down. Troy Solvig versus Nocturne. The match, the void, it awaits beneath the pit of hell. Battlegrounds surrounded by molten lava, brimstone hills. Waiting Valkyries encircle them, Bodies of hellhounds strewn across the land, and the carcass of the once mighty Cerberus strewn across the land. Solvig has got Volsinger in hand. Opposite Nocturne stands Behemoth towering beside him. The war ends only one way. One of them will not leave the battlefield alive. Nocturne's hiss fills the sky. Behemoth moves forward, leaping over the pit. Solvig dodges the incoming strike of Behemoth's claws. As the beast turns, hammer to the skull, staggered a second one. The beast buckles before the edge of the pit. The pit. And he says, "This is not your fight, beast. Go to hell." He swings the hammer into the chest. It falls backwards into the pit and's gone. Nocturne must face Solvig mano a mano. Demon egado. Nocturne takes the air. He catches Solvig slightly off guard. Through the hellfire, with the stomp of the Behemoth, Solvig rolls as the abyssal survivor aims 2 rapid strikes at the Viking's throat. Nothing but dirt. Solvig catches him with both feet and monkey flips him. Nocturne lands on his back among carcasses of hellhounds. He hurls several of the carcasses at his foe. Solvig dodges the first one, deflects the second with his hammer, charges in a chop block, takes Nocturne down to one knee. The Northern Lights drills Nocturne into the ground. Solvig drags Nocturne back to a vertical base. The abyssal survivor is softened up with a series of hard body shots using the handle of the hammer. A boot to the chest sends Nocturne staggering backwards, and he charges with the Valkyrie, the mighty Viking punch, but no! Nocturne caught it with both hands. His black eyes open, and try as he might, Solvig cannot free his fist from the demon's clutches. Nocturne's laughter fills the sky as he hoists Solvig into the air above his head, still holding on to the Viking's fist only. And he says, "You fool! Do you think that you even have the power to defeat me? I will watch the life fade from your eyes." Nocturne lowers Troy enough to stare into his eyes. A succession of relentless headbutts from the demon. Solvig is dazed. Nocturne tosses him up into the air. Darkness falls. The brutal kick in midair sends him soaring through the air. Solvig crashes to the ground and rolls for another 10 feet. As he staggers to his feet again, Nocturne takes to the air. The demon soaring after the Viking and looking for the killing blow. The abyssal mask. Nocturne is going for the eyes, but Troy rolls out of the way. Nocturne manages to catch a glancing blow across Solvig's cheek that draws a little blood. They're standing toe-to-toe, neither backing down, exchanging blows, rocking the other. Nocturne hits Troy with a double palm strike to the chest that causes him to buckle to one knee. It's the window Nocturne needs. He goes for into the abyss, but no, Troy almost knocked his head off with the hammer to the skull. Solvig breathes for a moment. The demon rises as Solvig approaches him. He shrugs off the hammer to the head. A hammer blow to the head and he still stands. Nocturne once more lashes out. The wrath of Kerberos doesn't manage to hit home as Solvig deflects the throat strike. He follows up with a headbutt, staggers Nocturne. Hammer of the gods, the jackhammer on the rocks. Solvig drags Nocturne over the waiting pit, but the demon doesn't want to come quietly. He pushes Solvig off, surprising the Viking with the strength he still possesses. One blow to the sternum from Volsinger, a second, a third to the back of the skull. Nocturne is down, finally lifeless. Shit! Hammer to the sternum, two hammers to the sternum, and one to the back of the skull. Troy Solvig has defeated Nocturne. Holy shit. The hammer worked for once. He places one foot on the chest in victory. Whew. Thanks, Dawson. What's going to happen with these two? The pit of the abyss calls, where devils lie. Troy Solvig is victorious. Foot on the chest of the downed demon. Chest heaving, battered and bleeding, he holds the hammer high. An energy seems to engulf it, and as he takes His foot off the chest of his foe, Nocturne's body slowly rises to the air with a hiss. The demon is weakened. His lifeless black eyes stare back but see nothing. Solvig, with the hammer to the sternum, pushes him backwards through the air, and when he lowers it, Nocturne falls to the ground on all fours, right to the very edge of the void. This is the end for you, Nocturne. Nocturne says, no, you fool, I can always return. There are plenty more beasts in hell to sacrifice themselves for me. Troy smiles and says, I don't think you heard me right. He lunges forward, plunging a hole with his fist right to the chest of Nocturne. The beast of the void lets out an otherworldly, shrieking sound as Solvig rips the Cerebrus heart out of his chest. The heart gives a few soft beats in his hand before falling still and lifeless. And now the empty shell of Nocturne, devoid of heart and devoid of soul, falls lifelessly to the ground a few feet away from the void. I said it was the end. You will not return. Your body will remain here. And as for this heart, Troy tosses it back into the void, back to the pits of hell. He lifts Volsinger off the ground, waving it in a circular shape, and as he does so, the void closes and Nocturne's body turns to dust. Only the circle of Valkyries look on, and they give a slow clap. The sound of a clap slow enough to be deemed as mocking, actually. Troy turns to see an unfamiliar face, that of a Valkyrie, and they say it's time. The Valkyrie extends his hand, but Solvig remains stoic. He continues his sentence, addressing his purpose for speaking to Troy. It's time for you to come with me. I have come to take you to Valhalla. Loki's eyes narrow. He clutches Volsinger tighter and utters but one word, no. And with a flash, we are to be continued. Okay. I see you. Back to Nightstick and Redmond Quinn. Is Quinn gonna pull the trigger? Or even aim the gun, I guess. Diners, drive-ins, and lives. Quinn has got the gun pointed at Franklin's head and said, you murdered my best friend, you murdered that poor boy, and you tried to frame me? Nightstick stands between the men and says, you want justice, don't you, son? Then let me take him in. Let me serve him justice on behalf of Creed, the kid, and Creed's friend. Police sirens light up the sky as Redmond's hands begin to shake. And he says, we're in a match. We have a match tonight, don't we? For the championship. Don't you think Luther would want you to have that? Don't do this, Quinn. Put the gun down. And Quinn lowers the weapon and hands it to Nightstick. The cops rush over to where Quinn and Nightstick have Franklin surrendered on the floor. They take him into custody. And as everything sinks in and becomes calm, Quinn is shaking. And he says he's going to get away with it, isn't he? He killed 3 people, maybe more, and he'll walk, won't he? But Nightstick says he won't, and neither will the rest of them. Because their match, win, lose, or draw, will be Nightstick's last. I've told everyone that I was a disgraced former cop kicked off the force for being violent and unlawful, but the truth is I left. Nightstick was disillusioned with the politics and corruption. I just couldn't handle it anymore. I thought I could do better here than on the streets, but the corruption still exists. He's going to help Quinn up and says it's time. I didn't. I'm going to back to the force, and I'm going to seek out the corruption. I'm going to root out those involved, and I'm going to make them pay. You have my word, Redmond. I will serve them justice. Theo is being carted out. Quinn is grateful, understanding, and overwhelmed. And he says, I believe you will. I believe you will. And they're going to go fight for the championship. All right. We got a match. David Manson versus Eli Forever. And I expect this to be a phenomenal fight. Rob wrote it. All right, let's do it. What are we going to have with these two? It's a blood feud. It's not a match. Maybe if we're lucky, it'll be a fight. But we know it's going to be a war. The patriarchs of the Forever family and the Nightmare family fight. Manson versus Forever. Eli has shown up with his followers. Manson asked for them, and they're here. Remember, Manson took Rose Forever's ear last week. Stabbed Judah in the leg. Manson's nowhere to be seen. Eli shouts, "Where the fuck is he?" He sends his followers to find him. They go looking, but over the speakers, "Up here, Bubba." Manson is in the rafters. He's got Rose. She's screaming. One of Manson's followers walks in the ring and he says, "You looking for this?" Manson has Rose. He's got his ear and he says, "You can stitch it to her corpse." He slit Rose's throat. Throws her out of the rafters. Holy shit. The match is starting with this. Rose hits the ring post with a deadening thud. Rose Forever is dead. Holy shit. David Manson is after. Eli is pissed off, as he should be. He stabs Manson's follower in the stomach. There's a pool of blood in the ring, and Eli is climbing the stairs to get to the rafters. But there's another voice. "Leave him to me, brother. Judah's up in the rafters." He spears Manson off the rafters. Eli's followers, they sacrifice their own lives to save Judah to break the fall. Holy shit. Manson and Judah are buried under the corpses of Forever's followers, and we don't see any movement. Manson is out of the pile. He almost drowned under them. Judah's there too. Judah and Manson are throwing rights at each other. Eli's in the fray now. Judah and Eli double team Manson, double suplex onto the floor. Judah's got Manson, holding him from behind. "Kill him for our family. Kill him for our mother. Kill him for Rose." Eli charges at Manson with the knife, but one of Manson's followers tackles Manson. Eli couldn't stop. He stabbed Judah right in the heart. Holy shit, Judah's dead too. Eli killed him. The Forever siblings are dead. Manson laughs and says it's going to be a family reunion and night in hell, Bubba. Forever takes him down. Holy shit. Eli is insane. He's going after Manson with all he's got. Manson followers jumps in, hits a frog splash on Eli. It gets Eli off of Manson. Eli's up, throws the book of Eli, hits him in the back of the follower's head. Eli draws his own knife, the butter knife. He slices the follower from neck to waist like a dissection. Holy shit. Blood is gushing and getting all over Forever, but he's completely numb to it. But welcome to Manson Street. Manson hits the running neck breaker while Eli had his back turned. Manson's followers drag Eli to the bar. They lie him on the table and tie him to it. Holy shit, Eli is tied to the table. Manson's got bottles. He's going to drown Eli. What the hell? Is he going to waterboard him? The followers got Eli's mouth open. Manson is pouring the liquor down his throat. Eli's choking. But one of Eli's followers pushes the table over, forcing Manson to fall to the floor. The follower cuts Forever free from the table and charges after Manson. Manson kicks the knife out of his hand, catches it in midair, and stabs the follower right in the eye. Manson. And he says, "Leave this to the men, kid." Manson hits a bulldog to the follower, driving the knife deep into his skull. The follower is dead. They're killing everybody out here. On the other side of the bar, Forever spits the alcohol, still in his mouth, into the follower that forced his mouth open. It was Everclear. Forever lights a match and tosses at the follower covered in alcohol. He goes up in flames and says, "Sorry, friend. Your fate in life will be your fate in death." Jesus. Forever turns to march towards Manson, the code breaker. He's got Forever in the ring. The match has just started. The match has just started, folks. The match just started. The horror show, the package pile driver from Manson. 1, 2, 3. Manson has done it. He's vanquished every last member of the Forever family in one night. No, he hasn't. Forever's foot was on the ropes. The match goes on. Manson doesn't realize it. Forever's up. He's got Manson. The returnal river plunge. The double underhook power slam. With the cover. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Shortest match ever. Forever has pinned him. Holy shit. Rose is dead. Rose is dead. Judah's dead. A shit ton of followers are dead. And you can't really blame that on Rob. He did everything I told him to do, just a little more brutal. All right. Segment between them entitled Forever. Blood is everywhere. Whimpers and moans fill the air. The match, no, the war is over, but is there actually a winner? Manson and Forever crawl to their knees. They're still ready to fight to the bitter end. They slowly look around. Bodies litter the ring and the ringside area. Their broken forms belong to both the Nightmare and the Air Eternal's followers. The remnants of the Forever family are destroyed. As they come to their feet, they've both got metal in their hands. In David's hand, his trusty knife, the weapon that's carried him through the nightmare rain. In Eli, he's got the butter knife his own mother used to kill herself. Stepping past the broken bodies of Rose and Judah Forever, Eli staggers towards Manson. The nightmare grins, blood flowing between his broken teeth. Stab! Eli looks down, clutching his stomach. The knife's been shoved into the hilt. Manson twists the knife and Eli groans. It's over, Bubba. Eli spits in his face, and he drags the butter knife across Manson's throat. He uses all he's got to saw at the skin until blood spurts out. Both men release their weapons. They're spent. They fall shoulder to shoulder against each other. And with their last breaths, they whisper words we're not going to hear of hatred. Their bodies collapse to the canvas, dislodging the knife in Eli's gut. Silence. Both men are dead. Blood continues to pour from Manson's neck. From Eli's midsection, it pools together in one large stream of red, flowing together to drip outside of the ring, joining the blood of all those slain around ringside. And standing in the shadows of the tap room, a man takes one last drag of his cigarette before heading for the exit. They did it. They turned the river red. Forever. Hope you gentlemen enjoyed that. Damn it, I keep refreshing Discord instead of my page. It's a pleasure to write the Forever Manson feud. I think I've written Eli Forever since after the first or second month he was around. Great characters. Sad to see them go. It's a good thing the cops left the tap room after arresting Vitale. They weren't here for this. But anyway, let's look at Scarecrow and Rain. What's coming next? The Scarecrow. We're in Asgard. The Scarecrow takes a deep breath, taking one last look at the prone body of Brent Kirsch. He has a lot to think about, a lot to contemplate. Only it takes him mere moments to come to his conclusion. And he says, I am but a mere monster, Odin. A creature, like you said. I've never been a noble beast. In fact, quite the opposite. For years, he thought his mission was to destroy the Kirsch family bloodline. But now he knows it is foolish. His connection was not to murder the family, but to save him from the curse. Scarecrow was programmed to murder, kill, slay. And the deep-rooted connection to the Kirsch family led him down that path. Even Yahweh wouldn't tell me the truth. So he looks towards Odin and said, I was manipulated into believing that our battle was to empower us for the founding fathers of old school wrestling. A protection against evil that only we could provide, but I was naive. Yahweh created me to be a weapon. He used me, he always has. And Odin says, because that's all you are. A creature, a pathetic puppet, a tool of destruction, a weapon that can be disregarded at his will. But here I stand, Scarecrow says, with a noble quest. Because on this day, before God and creatures alike, he points at Rain. I choose my purpose to be greater than it was ever planned to be. I choose surrender, which shocks Odin and Rain, who literally freezes. He says, I know the truth now. There is no greater sacrifice than the one I'm willing to make. Brent Kirsch is the epitome of this miserable existence, a man of great courage and honor. I owe my life for his. And he says Rain can take it. They're transported to the ring because Rain has been looking forward to it. They're going out. It's going to be a fight. Birthed from purest evil, an unstoppable, insatiable destroyer with the blood of 1,000 warriors flowing through his hands, has been the worst and best of OSW since its very first episode. The final pillar, Yahweh's chosen champion, ready to die for an innocent man's soul. Will a solitary prayer be answered? Or will the Scarecrow give his life so that Brent Kirsch may live? Crow is stoic, urging Rain to attack. The Ghost Walker obliges. Stiff knee to the gut. Pear to the jaw. The Hayman barely moves. Rain attacks. Barely staggering Scarecrow with the low roundhouse. Rain drops low again. A hard drop kick dropping him down to one knee. Before Rain leaps up with the snap brother mine. Spikes Scarecrow into the mat. Slightly dazed, but not out as Rain pulls him up to his knees, pounding down furiously with blows that ordinarily Scarecrow would shrug off, but he passively takes every shot. Rain, he drills Crow in the jaw with a stiff super kick. Scarecrow sits up. Rain wants him to fight back, but as Crow gets to his feet, he returns to the perch position. Rain is furious. Need another hard super kick to the jaw. The Ghost Walker's got a steel chair, and he breaks the thing in half over Scarecrow's head. Crow crashes to one knee. Rain drives the chair over and over, twisting it, breaking it. Rain tosses it aside, gets to his knees, gets right into Scarecrow's face for placing Scarecrow's left hand up against his chin and says, one damn swing right here, one big one, do it. Scarecrow locks eyes, simply shakes his head before dropping it. Rain punts Scarecrow right in the jaw. And he says, no wonder you're Yahweh's champion. You're pathetic. At least Kirsch died like a man. Rain rushes right forward, right into a massive big boot from the Scarecrow, sends him flying. Scarecrow is fury in his eyes. He rushes forward, a flying basement drop kick as he tries to stand. He mounts the Ghost Walker, pounds the absolute piss out of him with lefts and rights as he tries to put a hole right through Rain's skull. Rain escapes with a desperation eye poke. Scarecrow's got him by the hair. Back suplex. Another big boot. Rain's out on his feet. He attempts to get Scarecrow to fight back. It's backfiring, rather, as the Hayman, as the lights go out, as they come back on, Scarecrow is not looming over the fallen Rain, but lifted onto his back. The Ghost Walker with a devilish laugh. He nails Crow with the placebo effect, the vertebreaker. Rain makes the cover. 1, 2, no! The foot on the ropes. He pulls Scarecrow away, drops down, but he's got goozled. Rain scratching and clawing, but Scarecrow's iron grip is unbreakable. He lifts him up, stares into his soul. Bye-bye, Birdie. Another one. Bye-bye, Birdie. Bomb. Scarecrow drops into the cover. 1, 2, but Rain is kicked out. What the hell? Scarecrow shakes his head. He lifts Rain up off the mat. He goes for planting him through the ring. The full force bye-bye Birdie. Rain is out cold. 1, 2. It's over. Scarecrow wins. The battle between the champions of the gods. But did he cost Brent Kirsch's life by doing so? Well, the rain finish is here too, actually. Dean, you're going to have to tell us what's the right finish. I need a second anyway. I'm recovering from a cold. Intermission, let's all go to the lobby. Oh man, what a damn show thus far. I think we know the real finish is Rain having trouble sweating from sweat. Man. Alright, there we go. I think it's gone now. Anyway. The top rope vertebraker. Rain gets the top rope vertebraker. 1, 2, 3. Rain wins. Odin's Valkyrie defeats the Scarecrow. Ignore everything I said for a few moments before that. The final, well, not final, the next segment is entitled Brent Kirsch. I wonder who it's about. As the brutality of the fight ends, they're both transported back to Asgard. Odin watches in awe as both men get back to their feet. He can't believe it. What an absolute battle. He walks over to the Scarecrow, grabs him by the throat and says, "Any last words?" The Scarecrow smiles and says, "Where your eyes don't go." And the mighty Heyman falls to his knees, his eyes wide open before falling flat on his face. There's no blood, no tears, no screams, no pain. He merely ceased to be. His body falls away beneath the clothes, vanishing into the void, never to be seen again. His hat and clothing are all that remain behind. But as if on cue, Brent Kirsch gasps, awakening from his death, choking on the air around him. Rain snaps his head around. He intends to walk over, but Odin stops him and says, "A deal is a deal." The Ghost Walker's infuriated, but he won't berate Odin. Kirsch rises, staggers towards the pair, and he looks down, noticing Scarecrow's hat, and says, "What is this? Where is he?" Odin lets him know. The Scarecrow sacrificed his life so that you may live. And Kirsch can't believe and says he can't believe it. The Allfather chuckles, takes a seat on his throne, and says, "You should be pleased, Kirsch. I'm going to send you home to your family, where you'll live happily ever after. The Scarecrow gifted you that privilege and paid a dear price for it." The Enforcer picks up Scarecrow's hat, takes a look at it, dusts it off, and puts it on his head. And with his hands on his hips, he looks down at the floor. Says, "I'm ready to go home." Odin returns him home. The saga's over. Meanwhile, Odin looks towards Rain with a knowing nod. Says, "Are you ready to finish this?" He says, "With the Scarecrow out of the way, there's only 2 things left to do." Rain nods. "Destroy Yahweh and what?" Odin grimaces and says, "Escort Loki back to this mortal plane." Interesting. In a brief pause before this main event World Championship match, I'm going to tell my mother that I love her and to have a good night. Speaking of mothers. All right. All right. The World Championship match. It's going down. Redmond Quinn versus Nightstick. Who will be the world champion? The bell rings. They stare at each other across from the ring. It is not her birthday. No. Her birthday is in September. All right. They're staring at each other. The bad blood. They're on the same page, kind of, but this is it. Can Redmond Quinn do what no one else has ever done before? Red River Jack couldn't do it. Bruce Van Chan couldn't do it. Solomon Rhodes couldn't do it. Nicholas Mammon couldn't do it. Will Redmond Quinn be able to do it? Let's find out. The two bulls lock up in the center of the ring before Nightstick moves to the side headlock. Quinn begins driving elbows into the gut, but Nightstick slams him to the mat with the hold still applied. Nightstick releases the hold, 3 stiff punches to the forehead before stepping up and back. The tutor checks for blood. There's none to be found. Nightstick rushes in with his arm outstretched to end it quick, but Quinn ducks. Stick meets the ropes, and he catches a roundhouse kick to the chin that drops him to his knees. A back spin kick catches him right in the back of the head. Nightstick is down. A low drop kick catches him right on the chin. Nightstick is knocked outside of the ring. He tries to get up. Quinn climbs out onto the apron and leaps, but Nightstick catches him. He lifts him up and drops him to the hard floor with the ode to Boss Man. The Law lifts up Quinn and whips him into the barricade. Quinn slams into it. The Bullhammer. 2 of them in a row. Vicious. The Smith & Wesson. Redmond Quinn's lip is busted open as he falls to the floor. Stick grabs him by the ear, drags him to the apron, lifts up his dead weight before rolling him to the ring. Stick climbs up on the apron, caught there with a knee lift. The cop falls. Quinn pulls him close. Sunset flip powerbomb. Detention. Hooks the legs. 1, 2, but not going to be that easy. It'll take more than that to put the Law to rest. Redmond grabs the head of Nightstick before slowly lifting him up. Uppercut. The shot catches Quinn off guard as blood spews into the air from his open lip. Eye rake from the champ. The ref gets in there to admonish Nightstick. The cop raises the fist as the ref realizes he better back up. He needs to know who the Law is. Nightstick turns back to Quinn, but gets blood spewed in his face. Quinn spat in the face of the Law. He rushes for the clothesline, though, but Quinn catches him. Scoop slam. Quinn pulls him under the belly, leaps over into the submission, the final assignment. Will Nightstick have the answer? The pain is present as Quinn's blood and saliva drip down his face. The ref quietly asks, "Do you give up?" But Nightstick screams out, "Never." He begins building up strength as he begins to roll. He rolls through enough to get to the ropes. Quinn is exasperated as he releases the hold. Both men are down, breathing heavily. But after what seems like forever, both men rise to their feet. Quinn throws a right hand, staggers Stick. Quinn ducks a response. Into the pup handle flatliner, class dismissed. He makes the cover with both legs. 1, 2, 3, no, Nightstick got a foot on the bottom rope. The tutor grabs him up, sets him up on the top rope. He climbs up there. Before hooking an arm, he motions for the end. But the Law with a shot to his midsection. Headbutt, 3 of them. Redmond Quinn back into the ring off the top rope. Super hard justice onto Quinn. 1, 2, no, Quinn got the shoulder up. You're not going to put the tutor down that easily. Stick staggers to his feet as Quinn starts to climb up using the ropes. He turns around, another hard justice. Turned him inside out. Another pin. 1, 2, 3. No. At the very, very last second, Redmond Quinn got up. Got the shoulder up. Nightstick is furious. He drags his thumb across his throat, drags Quinn towards the corner. The Law lifts him up into a powerbomb position, but a Hurricane Rana from Redmond Quinn. He countered the ultimate finisher. They stagger up. Nightstick is furious. Quinn rolls out of the way. The ref goes down. Ref bump. Ref bump. The champ looks down at the ref with confusion. He smiles as he looks at Redmond Quinn. He's got his nightstick. He twirls it. Nightstick goes in. But Quinn avoids it, scurries out of the ring. Nightstick goes after him. Nightstick cracks the back of Quinn's legs. He drags him backwards. Another one. Oh, as he's dragged out of the ring. Quinn with a hard steel chair shot. The cop is out. Another one. Another one. Nightstick falls back. Quinn scurries away. He reaches back underneath the ring before pulling out some wood. I think this is our first table tonight. He slides that into the ring before walking over to Nightstick, rolls him into the ring. The tutor takes a moment to catch his breath, but then he sets up the table in the center of the ring. He's got handcuffs. Handcuffs from the waist of Nightstick. He's got one. He slaps it on the left. He goes for the right and gets a stun gun. Cackling sound shocks Quinn. Nightstick is pissed. He's busted open. Nightstick used a stun gun on him. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out the key to the cuffs, but he slides it to the ref. He's got the right arm of Quinn. He slaps the other cuff on him. It's a handcuff match now, boys. Nightstick pulls Quinn up. Powerbomb position. He runs towards the table, but Quinn slips out. The class dismissed. 1, 2, 3. Redmond Quinn is not the new champion. The ref is still down. The ref is still down. He tries to get the ref up, but an uppercut as Nightstick stands up. He's got Quinn. He brings him to the corner. Power bomb from the top rope through the table. Nightstick dials up 911. He leans over and places a hand across the chest of Quinn. 1. Is this it? 2. Shit, it is. Nightstick is retained. Once again, the Pandemonium winner cannot defeat the champion. Oh man, what a hell of a match. Hell of a match. The referee has got them out of the handcuffs. And we're going to move forward. Never forget the Founding Fathers. Interesting segment title. This is a flash forward. We're at the Kirsch family farm. The enforcer is toiling away in a large cornfield. He's sweating profusely as he refills a hole in the ground with dirt, packing it around a large wooden structure. It's the perch. He's moved it. Once he's secured it, he steps back to admire his handiwork, taking a sip from a large silver flask of whiskey. He bends down to pick up the scarecrow's hat, placing it atop the perch, and he says, "There were more moments than I could count on, both hands in which I wished you'd die." Kirsch says, taking another swig, "I never thought in a million years that I'd be stood here now wishing you were alive. You sacrificed your life so that I may live, and I wanted to thank you for that. The world hasn't been the same since Ring of Dreams. To be honest, it could use someone like you." And he says, "I think we all could." Suddenly, the sound of a child running through the cornfield can be heard. It's Michaela Lane, now a toddler, running into his arms, and in chase, her father, Mike Lane. The shadow pretends to be out of breath as she giggles, and he walks towards them, hand outstretched. And he says, "You did it, then? It looks good here. I think you'd like it." Kirsch hands the kid over to him and said, "At least this way he's always watching over us." In times like these, that's of some surprising comfort. They begin to walk away, Mike putting his daughter on his shoulders and says, "I can't thank you enough for taking care of my daughter. You and Nicole have done a wonderful job. She's amazing, just like her mother." And she says, or he says, Kirsch does, "It was a pleasure, kid." And he says, "Do you think we'll ever see him again?" And Kirsch says, "Well, where your eyes don't go," and they chuckle. Hell of a damn segment. Thank you, Dean. That was a great segment. Hell of an ending for those characters. All right. Let's keep it going. Troy, Solvig, and Rain. Chooser of the slain. Troy Solvig shields his eyes from a white-hot flash of light, blinking as he tries to understand his surroundings. He's no longer stood before a Valkyrie. He stood in the middle of the ring, opposite Rain, the Valkyrie. Rain says, "You refuse to go." There's nothing inside the tap room. It's empty, void of anything but a ring. Solvig says, "Where am I?" Rain says, "He's in purgatory." He hopes that Solvig will let him lead him to Valhalla. But Solvig says, "No, I can't leave. I'm the chosen warrior of Odin, and my work here isn't finished." Rain smiles and says, "You were, and it is. You must come with me or face an eternity here in this place. I know you can't come willingly, but know that Odin has sent me. This is his plan for you, his desire and your destiny. There is no shame in being taken to Valhalla." The warrior lowers his head in shame, feeling betrayed at Odin has discarded him to paradise. And he says, "I don't trust you. If you want me to come with you, you're going to have to convince me. And not before I taste your blood. I have one more fight left in me, and if you dare." Rain says he was hoping he was saying that. Bonus match! Well, shit. I don't know. Well, shit. All right, boys. Bonus match. Troy rushes in, nails Rain with a massive lariat. Rain barely hits the steel before Solvig rushes in, all 280 pounds of muscle, to squash Rain against the turnbuckles. He rushes in again, but Rain moves. Troy staggers out. A stiff enziguri stuns the trickster. Rain switches to the back, slams him face first into the mat with a forward Russian leg sweep, before leaping up to the second rope and dropping down a leg on the back of Solvig's head. Troy's dazed, walks into a stiff kick, almost a low blow. Brother mine! But Troy is back up. Rain leaps into the air, but Troy ducks under the leg lariat. Valkyrie, the Superman punch, drills Rain full force. He press slams Rain into the fifth row, 10-15 feet away. Rain crashes down on the empty chairs in a heap of pain and misery. Solvig rolls out, leaps the barricade, runs after the Ghost Walker, but Rain pulls himself up. Chair to the face from Rain. Rain leaps in, tries to take his head off. He grabs him and drags him back to the ring. Rain slams him into the ring steps. Back in the ring, Rain's got the chair. Troy stomps after a desperation attack. Picks up the steel chair, but a low blow from Rain. He uppercuts him in the dick. Grabs the fallen chair and slams it over Solvig's back. Troy crumples to the mat in pain, as Rain slides the steel chair under his head. Concerto curb stomp. Troy's down. Somehow still conscious, blood flowing, Rain pulls him up. The blood is pissing out of his forehead. Damn. Rain tries to pull him up, but Troy collapses. Blood mist! Another blood mist, hell yeah. Troy spits a massive wad of blood into Rain's eyes, blinding him. Volsinger, he's got his hammer. Rain gets hit with the hammer. Rain gets up. The cocky smile erases from his face. A second Valkyrie. Rain struggles as Troy drops the hammer. He tears the ring steps from the post. Almost hits Rain with him. The Ghost Walker having to roll away from the steel. Troy picks him up. Powerbomb onto the steel steps. Rain screams as Troy lifts him up. Goes for the hammer of the gods, but Rain stabs him in the arm with the dagger. Solvig drops him. His arm is bleeding heavily. Rain gets to his feet. Troy rushes forward. The acid rain. Brother mine on the steps. Rain is about to finish this. The placebo effect on the steel steps. Rain has won. Well, hot damn. Rain beat the shit out of him. Ascension. Rain stands tall over the fallen Troy Solvig, unmarked by comparison. Troy gave it all he had, but it wasn't enough. Solvig reaches up, trying to pull himself up, but Rain says, "You're a valiant warrior, but the time has come for you to enter the glory of Valhalla." Troy asks, "Why has Odin left me to die? I did everything he asked." And Rain says, "You did, and he couldn't have done it without you. This is the highest honor you can receive. Why are you so reluctant to take it?" Solvig says, "Because he needs me." Rain says, "I'll take care of him. The war will be won tonight, and you'll become a god in your own right in Valhalla." The Viking warrior nods, agreeing to go. Rain offers a hand, and Troy takes it. Then in a puff of smoke, they disappear. Well, shit. What the hell? It's Sharkman. Look at that badass. Fuerza. Across the country, in a terminal island in California, at a warehouse just off the freeway, the Sharkman enters and says, "The first time I walked away from the tap room, it was out of fear of what would come next, a fear of what more I could lose. When I went back, gods and monsters were at war with each other, and I realized we're not ready for what come next. But we could be." They walk through a door. The Sharkman surveys the scene, a rundown training facility, practice mats, gym equipment, and even a wrestling ring. "I might never recreate the bond I had with the Watchmen, but I can be something more. I can recruit and train a new class of warriors to take on the next threat to peace and justice, wherever the need arises. Whatever happens next, I can be ready. We can." Oh shit! Hysteria is there. And he says, "I've been looking for a purpose since God resurrected me, because I know I can't go back to my evil ways." He takes the mask off. It's L.H. Harrison. He says, "Thanks for inviting me. I didn't think I'd get the opportunity to make this right." Lee Crowley and Doubt. They stop short of Harrison and Sharkman. Sharky says, "You came?" Crowley says, "We have to work out a few things first. A lot has transpired between us." "Why'd you come?" Harrison says. Crowley says, "Because truthfully, this is the only family I've ever had." Rhett, your comment just staggered me. Anyway, "Tobias and Damien left me behind, but you three, I know I can count on you." Doubt took his mask off. "Jonathan is back." Sharkman says, "I thought you were controlled by it." And he says, "Before I was trapped in hell, I was, but now it offers me very little comfort." The Sharkman takes off his mask. Oh shit, his name is Alexander Kars, and this is the Fuerza Academy. This is where we'll train the next generation of men and women who will fight for justice and peace. We've all contributed too much to the hatred of this broken world. It's time we contributed to fixing it. Hell yeah, what a happy ending. That's what's up. That's what's up. Amazing ending to this arc here. Hell yeah. That was great. That was great. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Are we ready for the end? I'm not ready for it to end, but I'm ready to see it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's cap this sucker off. Okay. All right. Here it is. Yahweh versus Odin. Flash, thunder, lightning. The sound of a great battle is upon us. As the inside of the arena shakes, the lights flicker on and off. Odin and Yahweh appear, stood opposite each other. Odin says, I didn't think you'd have the fortitude to come. And Yahweh says, I always knew you'd have the audacity. They meet in the middle of the ring. And he says, how long have you been planning this hostile takeover of Earth, Odin? Was it before or after the fall? Odin scoffs, how dare you? When your son decided to bring the apocalypse upon the planet, we, Elysium Fields, decided to abandon it. Yahweh lowers his head and says, you agreed to that. You understood it, but the chief disagrees. Says, but you didn't understand the implications. If the world crumbles, all the people who believed in us would be lost. Our fall would have been inevitable. Odin, is disgusted and said, we had a plan for that, a new creation, a new planet, a new world. Besides, it had nothing to do with that, and you know it. You just had to be the hero. You just had to save them. Yahweh's pissed. Says, it was my fault. It was my son who did this. It was he who brought about the end of the world. I was obligated to put that right. Odin pushes him and says, you were selfish and cowardly. The moment you revealed yourself to these people and they believed in you, you protected yourself from it and left us to fall. Cowardly? We've all been hiding from it, you included. How long has it been, Odin? Are we going to stand here and muse or fight, you coward? The chief says, it doesn't have to be this way. These people believe in us both. We can both exist protected from it. No, Odin says. There can only be one God, one true, definitive, undisputed Lord, and that will be me. Yahweh says, I can't count the casualties should we do it. I tried to gather the championships to lock this battle, but you killed Scarecrow before he could. There may be nothing left but a wasteland. Odin says, so be it. Their power begins to rise, glowing in their hands, brightening. But they halt. Both of them fall to their knees, struggling as if their power is being stopped. What the fuck is happening? And this, my friends, we're going to get another music segment. So get hard.
If the stars fall down on me and the sun refuse to shine, then may the shackles be undone. May all the old words cease to rhyme. If the sky turn into stone, it will matter not at all. For there is no heaven in the sky. Hell does not wait for our downfall. Let
Death is permanent now. I think that's a good thing. It worked for our story for Death to not be permanent, but I think it adds a lot more to the story. Look at that, the ultimate dam liner, Rain Rob. Who'd have thunk that? All right, man. Well, that kicks off or ends the Volume 1. Volume 1 is over. Rain could see the dead because he's the vessel for death. Just like the chief was the vessel for Yahweh. Dean, anything else you want to cover here? They're begging for a character reveal. All right, guys, a reveal is coming. A reveal is coming. Of who, I don't know yet. But a reveal is coming. Demo, you're going to handle Mystique? What a hell of a show, guys. And just want to thank everybody that came out. There were a ton of people coming out here. I'm really curious to see what our numbers are going to be when I look at them tomorrow. Because it seems like we've had a lot of viewers as time has went on. Alright. There we go. Let's see, does that look good? Hey, that shows up pretty well. There is our first reveal. This character's name is Greyjoy. He looks like a pirate to me. With an E. Damo, I believe. Looks pretty hot fire. Ooh. One more. One more. Who wants another? Does anybody want another? Ooh, I like this one. I haven't seen this one. I'd seen Greyjoy before. All right, this is Papa Legba. Presuming I said that right. Looks like a voodoo gimmick. Nice. Awesome. That looks pretty sexy right there. Oh, I just remembered we had Voodoo Night. Oh man, these guys look pretty hot fire. I'm excited to see this roll out. Oh man. I do believe we're going to be getting to see some role plays. Not role plays. We're going to be getting to see some reveals over the course of the next off period, which will be pretty cool. Man, two badass looking characters. Love it. Can't wait to see them in action. All right, Dean, you got anything else for us? Any announcements? Comments? All right. Cool. The Bar of Sides. Poor taproom bar. All right. Who's ready for a cool announcement? All right. So, the very first show back is going to be entitled Lambs to the Slaughter. And if I'm reading this right, will be one match. And it will be a pandemonium style match. So, Lambs to the Slaughter, pandemonium style match. Get hard for that. May or may not be live, depends on a lot of factors, but I would love it to be. And it will be for the main championship in OSW, which will not be named yet. So for all the marbles, the biggest prize will be on the line in our first show. So if you're like me, and you better get your mind going and plan that badass first role play. Awesome announcement. Thanks for getting with me, Dean, and doing this. Thank you guys for all showing up. We had a ton of people here tonight, and I'm really excited to see it. Really excited to see how the numbers look. One thing I didn't mention, I think I mentioned it in chat before we sign off, just as a matter of mentioning. Last week, I guess, I was able to hit the requirements to be a Twitch affiliate. So you may see the button that says subscribe up in your upper right hand corner. That just, holy shit. Oh no, I can see it up here. Hey, sweet guys. Thanks, Alex Dawson. That Twitch Prime. Yes, if you've got Amazon Prime, you can use it to subscribe. Thank you, Matt. So yeah, you guys can do that. And I didn't want to mention it beforehand because I didn't want a lot of alerts while we were doing this. And thank you to whoever that is. I can go back and fix the oopsies like you wrote that Connor won. Yeah. So you guys can do that. And, I mean, that's entirely up to you. Just wanted to mention it. Been a great night. And Volume 1 is in the bag, boys. And I guess pay attention to Discord or the forums for any further info from Dean. Whoa! Hey! Yes, I can get bits now, too. I forgot Those are not the alerts I thought I set up. Awesome, though. That is pretty loud. I don't know how to turn them down. I'll have to figure that out. All right. Thank you so much, Alex. But glad to have you guys here. I'm going to go ahead and bring this whole deal down. And I'll talk to you guys on the forums or in the Discord. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for showing up.